provide a safe and supportive space for people to share their experiences and feelings around mental health. So we'll officially start the session, but first, let me just set this ground rule. Okay, this is a place for everyone to feel comfortable and safe. So please be respectful and kind. Everyone's experiences and feelings are valid here. So please be open-minded and try to understand where others are coming from. Is that understood?
Right.
Is that understood?
Yes.
Understand for us? Yep.
Now we have that grand rule set. Let me officially introduce the big elephant in the house. Like the reason why we are gathered here. Well, I'll first of all start by introducing Miss Aduanna Ayuk. That is the founder of Ayuk's production, Aduanna's production. Well, I can remember when I met her. I was in Calabar. We met in a box, in a taxi. I was heading to a location with a friend of mine, and then we were discussing about location shoots and costume and stuff like that. All of a sudden, she just asked us, "Wait, are you guys filmmakers?" We said yes. Then she said something briefly about a production she was working on that delayed for a while. Then we exchanged contact. 2 weeks later, she called me up. We met. We discussed. Just that slight discussion we had in the taxi till today has kept a smooth relationship, and we have built a whole lot of things together. Like the impact we have made together is awesome, and I've enjoyed every moment I've worked with her because to me is a platform to show what I can offer.
Yes.
Seriously, it's a platform to show what I can offer, and I enjoy the fact that she's someone that does not relent. She goes forth for what she wants and she gets it the way she wants. I can remember the time that we wrote a scene on location like 3 times because just wanted to get it right. We wrote the first scene, we shot. We're like, no, Ambassador, I didn't like that scene. She wrote another one, we shot again, and Ambassador, we left it. 2 days later, we came back to that scene again, and she has rewritten it again. So I really want to say a very big thank you to her for being this consistent in pushing this forward. Aduanna production has been on for the past, for the past 5 years now, and she's still strong.
Oh, we got some freezing.
Yeah.
Give it a moment. Sometimes connection can get bad.
True. True.
Please, Aduanna, if you are on, please can you unmute your mic?
Okay, we can see you now. You froze for a minute. You're good now.
Okay.
We can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Aduanna, we can't hear you.
Hello?
Ambassador, can you hear us?
I can hear you, Mom.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Aduanna is speaking. I think she's speaking right now.
You say there's somebody speaking right now?
Aduanna, Miss Aduanna.
I don't know where Aduanna went. I think she may have her call may have dropped.
Okay.
Let me see.
Okay. Then let me go to the next.
Oh no, she's there. She's in here, but I don't see her.
Okay, she's on.
Yeah, she's still on. Still on.
Okay.
Aduanna, can you hear us? Let me see. She was saying that so many people was joining that she couldn't hear anything. And that she was, it's almost like she's, let me see if I can fix her video.
Drop the message on
In the meantime, before we get her back on. There she is.
There we go.
Can you still hear?
Yeah, she dropped a message on the WhatsApp group that she's finding it difficult to join. A lot of people are finding it difficult to join the session. Um, I don't know. I can see her. She's here.
Yeah, her picture is up now. Aduanna, can you hear us? She still can't hear us. And now she's on mute. Unless she might be getting a lot of feedback.
Right. Right.
Depending on, yeah. Because yeah, connectivity can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And all the rest of the attendees, the audience, can you guys hear us? So you can type in the chat.
She said she can't hear anything. She can't hear us.
Let's see. Oh, wait, let me change this too. Okay, now panelists, y'all can, the attendees, y'all can chat right into the chat. I had to change the setting. Y'all excuse me, it's my first time doing the hosting. I'm learning. So if you guys can hear us as the audience, let us know if you can hear us. You can type it in the chat. Okay.
Okay. One said it's, yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
Okay, good, good.
So we just have trouble with Aduanna. But Aduanna, you can hear us? No or yes? Yes? Is that any better, Aduanna? And we lost the ambassador. I don't know why you can't hear. Aduanna, did you check your settings on your phone to see if that was the issue? Because usually when you log into Zoom, it'll ask you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
You can,
I can
good.
hear a little bit, not so high though, but at least I
Okay.
can hear.
All right. And check your volume too. And we lost the
Okay.
ambassador.
Okay.
We're gonna get it together, y'all. We said we'll get it together. We're hanging in here. We're hanging in here. Because this is important. Yeah, I think
Many
it's
people
I
are
think
lost
it's just a connection.
Yes, connection. The signal's terrible over here.
But we'll get through it though. We'll get through it.
Okay.
So do you have questions for us while we wait for Ambassador to come back? Anything particular you want us to address first?
Okay. I wanted you guys to address depression and how depression can affect mental illness or our mental health.
Okay.
So that's very important because when you lose or when you lost someone, you are totally what will I say, shattered, and you are in the great grieving time. So how do you cope with it without damaging your mental health?
That is difficult. You want to go
Well,
first? Well, let's start with this, George. Let's start with the fact that overall, right? Because me and Aduanna talked and George and I talk every
Mm-hmm.
day about the fact that people don't understand mental health, right? So let's start with a
Yeah.
generalized overview of like that everything affects your mental health, right? And just like
Right.
we have physical health and we have to take care of that, we have to take care of our mental health as well, right? And our
Right.
mental health encompasses our emotional well-being, how we cope with everyday life, reducing stress. All of those things make a difference when it comes to managing your life, right? If your mental when your mental capacity is low, you can't function. You can't go to work. You can't take care of your kids. Your life is not
Right.
fulfilling. Your life, it's hard just to cope with the everyday, right? And I know, you know, as Black people, as African people, like we tend to think that that doesn't matter. Like we just got to survive. We just got to survive. As long as you wake up, you're good. But you want to wake up and have a quality of life, right? It's not all about just living. It is also about having a quality life, right? I always say I want to live life and not endure it, right? And I think that is a major difference, and is not just good enough to be alive. You know, we were also put here to enjoy, right? To live
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
abundantly, right?
Right.
And you cannot
Yeah.
live life abundantly when your mind is sick, right?
Right.
And so I want to
Exactly.
put that out there first, because we are a people who have had to survive a lot, right? You know, especially with you know being colonized, right? And having to do things in a certain way that was outside of traditionally what we originally did and how we do things, right?
Mhm.
And because of that, we're depressed, we're sad, we're outside of
Right.
our element, you know, as people of color, right? And
True.
so when you get outside of working, when you get outside of doing things as you were created to do, then you're sad because you're not working in your own element and how you were created, right? So I want to put that out there first before we start talking about how to cope with this or this, because you have to understand that, you know, mental health is a thing. It is a thing. It's real. It's
Right.
absolutely, it's just as real as breaking your leg and having to go to get a cast put on it, right? If my emotions in my mind and my ability to function in everyday life is not working, then I need to fix that. I need to figure out what caused that pain, what caused that thing to be broken, and work on fixing it. All right, George.
Well, with depression, you know, depression tends to be sort of a catch-all term with mental health, but there are to me, two different types of ways we can compartmentalize depression and get a better understanding. The first is when we have a loss, is when we have grieving. It's more of a situational type thing where we may be going through something. Now, during those moments of depression, you may be able to do things such as exercise better self-care, talk to someone, seek help. But really, once you get into the other aspect of depression, which is the actual biological chemical imbalance in the brain, that's not, it may be abstract, but it's actually there.
Yeah.
That is when you look into more intense therapeutic regimens and medication and things like that. So the first thing to do is try to distinguish which form of depression you may be suffering from, noticing the roots of it, what's causing it, what's making it worse, and then seeking help for it, and then deciding at that point what steps of care you should take next.
And usually what you have is the difference between those two is usually, you know, we're going to be sad when we lose somebody or something. And understand a loss is a loss. Whether you lose your car or you lose your kid or you lose your dog, it's still a loss, period. Right. And you're going to have an effect from that loss. When you lose a job, that's a loss. I'm from New Orleans and we had Hurricane Katrina and we lost our whole city. That was a loss. And every time you have a loss, you're going to have grief, right? You're going to have a natural response to losing that thing, right? Some people, I know we look at it as even a physical thing. You know, when your kid graduates from high school and moves out or something, that's a loss. They're not dead, but that you're still losing the dynamic of that relationship, right?
Right.
So
Right.
all of those things count, and you have to be able to recognize that. But there are natural feelings that come with that. You know, you're going to feel sad. You might, you know, you're going to feel the difference in the dynamics of your life, right?
Right.
And so it's okay to acknowledge that, hey, I'm sad. I miss this person. I miss this thing, or whatever the case may be. When you get to in life where you get to prolonged grief. And I don't like for people to say, you know, oh, at some point you'll get over it. You'll never get over the loss of, especially a human being, right? You'll never get over that. I see grief as the difference between thinking about what you lost and crying and being sad about it, to crossing over into thinking about the person that you lost and being able to smile and remember the happy times. That's my definition of when the grief has transferred over to an acceptance, right? But you'll never get over it because that person won't be there, right? And so coping with, you know, and I feel that way with all mental illness and all, you know, mental health disorders or whatever you may call them, that it's not a matter of getting rid of it. It's a matter of learning to cope with how your brain works, learning to cope with whatever trauma you've been through, learning to cope with how your feelings work, learning to cope with how, you know, the structure of your brain, right? Because everybody's brain doesn't work exactly the same. There's some basic components to it, you know, but it don't work exactly the same. And so understanding yourself and your body and how your brain and your emotions work and who you are is essential to being able to heal from the junk that causes you not to be able to function.
Right. And what we have to also be aware of is, you know, we say the word depression, but understand depression might look like something different for each person.
Absolutely.
They may isolate, they may be sad, they may cry. Some people may be hyped up and agitated, may be frustrated. Depression, like I said, we have to be careful with the term depression because it tends to sort of encapsulate a bunch of things that it shouldn't.
Right.
We have to know what depression looks like. We have to learn about mental illness before we can really learn how to deal with them. And a big part of that is once someone is diagnosed, not being in denial about it and understanding you are not your mental illness, but your mental illness is not going anywhere. So you have to treat it.
That's right.
So once we can do that, then we can start to really deal with it. But I think we're still at the point where we're still trying to destigmatize and understand and
absolutely
what it is.
Yeah. Part of the problem, though, as a clinician, the system in itself that we even use to diagnose, the schooling that we get and all that, it's flawed, right? And much of it is based upon, you know, a white person standard, a Caucasian standard, right? And what they define what depression looks like, right? They, you know, we use what's called a diagnostic statistical manual to diagnose, right? It has the mental health disorder, and it tells you all the criteria a person needs to meet in order to diagnose this person with this disorder, right? And the criteria can include, you know, certain symptoms, but this system has to last for this amount of time. Some of them, they have to start before a certain age or after a certain age. So there's all this criteria, but that doesn't include all the people, right? Because most of the people, the Black people that I know, don't have those symptoms. You know, I can't get out of bed. I don't want to participate. I'm disconnected from life and I can't take care of my kids. So that's their definition of depression. But in our households, we got to work. We got to keep going. We got to keep it moving. Right. And so my depression looks like, I'm a workaholic. I'm going to stay in the work. Right. I'm going to keep it pushing. I'm going to work so hard that I ain't got to think about the stuff that's making me sad. Right. And so, so it's going to look different from culture to culture, right? From human to human, from between male and female. Children's depression and anxiety looks different than adult depression and anxiety, right? Because they don't have the same requirements of life, right? And they don't have the same skill set as we do with regard to, you know, explaining what I feel like, right? You know, go ahead, George.
Oh, and I was saying too, that's something else we need to keep in mind when talking about mental illness with anyone is what stage of life they're at, not just their circumstances, but me in my 40s, me at 46 treats my bipolar a little bit differently than what I did at 35.
Right.
Just because I'm at a different stage of life, and that's something we have to be aware of. Circumstances change, things change. So that's another challenge to managing a mental illness or even an episodic mental episode. Is trying to navigate what you really have going on in your personal life, along with society and along with your condition. So that's why it's good that we're having these discussions, because it's going to take a lot of these discussions to really get people to the point to where it's destigmatized enough where people are comfortable enough talking about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Hey, Ambassador, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, network issues.
Okay, connections happen.
Okay. I don't know. I would like to introduce the speakers so we can just jump in right and start this going on. So first of all, I would like to introduce someone. The first time I listened to him, I was like, oh my God, I must make this man my friend. Okay. Um, let me quickly do this. Okay. Um, Judge Brooks
Yes, sir.
is a renowned mental health advocate, a public speaker, writer, and CEO dedicated to shedding light on the often stigmatized and misunderstood world of mental illness. Having faced his own struggles with mental health since the tender age of 7, Judge's life journey has been marked by resilience, triumph, and a deep commitment to helping others overcome their challenges. Seriously, when you said you're a very huge fan of Batman, I saw this in place. So, Judge Brooks is the visionary behind Mental Association, a non-profit organization committed to advocating for and raising awareness around the decriminalization and destigmatization of mental illness. The organization's mission is to create a more compassionate and understanding society that supports those living with mental health challenges. Judge finds strength and wisdom in each day's challenges, viewing his journey as a blessing that has equipped him to inspire and support others. His life experiences have shaped him into a passionate advocate and a motivational speaker on the following topics: Black male mentality, living with purpose, fighting recidivism, Black empowerment and self-care, entrepreneurship, mental health, childhood and adult obesity, fatherhood and stepfathering, addiction and recovery. So for the first session of tonight, we'll be listening to Mr. George talk to us. So please, I would like everyone to take a pen and a paper and sit tight and listen. As I said, the first time I listened to him, I said I must make this man my friend. I promise you, after listening to him, you might have a second thought of either joining me on that mission. So please,
Right.
Mr. Judge, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
I understand that, Ambassador. That's why we're brother and sister now because of that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay. I hope this time around I will not I might not have sleepless night because after that night I couldn't sleep. I sat down and was thinking about a whole lot of things. One thing that he said that day that struck me was people that have hypersexuality have a case of bipolar. As in, I thought about it, like, God of mercy. And I went back and now thought about all the things he said that I said, no, this man is strong. Like, a whole lot has gone in. But I am ready for tonight. I have my paper, I have my pen, I'm just waiting. So please, Mr. Judge, if I just, thank you so
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, in doing these talks and talks like these, and as I alluded to earlier, we're still sort of at a point where we're still trying to work on destigmatizing mental illness. Because right now, I'm noticing this too in my recent interviews. I'm getting a lot of questions now about what it is and what it looks like. So what that means to me is that people are now finally trying to empathize and understand, which is something they didn't always do. Before, it was just a matter of just ostracizing and judging and denial. But now people are really starting to say, well, you know what, there may be something to this. I know I was raised like this, but maybe that wasn't right. So, and that's why I'm so hopeful about the next generations coming in, because the generation coming in now, they already have that mindset about mental illness. They're already open to discussing it. It's just, our generation has to kind of tighten up and fix ourselves, because we're still raising that generation. We're still trying to empower ourselves. And just the fact that mental illness has been such the whipping boy it has in terms of all the health for all these centuries and millennia, just now I'm really feeling like, okay, people are trying to get it. It's like if you tell someone you have a mental illness, it's not like they're just going to run away from you now. Some might, some will. It'll always be that way with some people. But they're just starting to be like, oh, okay, well, what's that like? And that's the most important question we can ask anybody dealing with anything in life. What's it like? What do you feel? And I'm glad to still starting to do that more and more.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
I think. Sorry.
Are you still here, Ambassador?
Yeah, I'm here. So, Mr. George, I listened to you the first time we had a talk, the last session we had. There are a whole lot of things you said about your journey, how you started, and the results so far. Please, for the sake of those that didn't join that session, I would like to just kind of do a recap, because it kind of motivated me as a person to talk about it. During the Children Mental Health Awareness Week last month, I reached out to at least 5 different schools talking about the theme that their voices matters in issues like this. Because listening to you that night actually shaped, it inspired me to do a whole lot towards mental health awareness toward this year as a whole. I'm already planning a gratitude hangout by December that will bring on the students in my space, gather them, for them to actually show, as in reminisce about what they have actually won, the little winnings they have had this year, because some of them have been projecting that 2024 I entered New Year. This is the things I would like to achieve this year. And some of them have not been able to actually achieve 30% of what they projected in January. So I want to have a session to gather them and talk about it. But I want your story. I want you to just have do a recap of that story, so that it will, let me see how it will also impact others, inspire them to have the same mindset I'm having right now. Because if from listening to you that night, I've actually created in me the kind of thoughts I have towards mental health. I feel like more people like me that will have that kind of mindset will also help in making this work easier for everyone.
Right. And it's all about mindset, especially if you have a mental illness, how you go into it, especially with my journey. And I'll briefly recap. Became a parent of my bipolar about age 7. Dealt with an emotionally abusive father, poverty, all kinds of issues. Some of it was my fault looking back on it, but I was a kid. What do you expect? How was I supposed to know what to do? And how do you expect a child with a mental illness is coming in with already shaky foundation to transition into adulthood and not blow something up? So that's part of my journey. I hadn't blown anything up yet. That's because of mindset. And where your mindset leads into it is how you deal with your mental illness, whether you view it as an illness or something you can manage. It's all in your mindset and how you approach it, because nobody else is going to do it for you. Let's be honest. Most people really don't care. If you say you're going through something, they can empathize for a second, but they're going on about their day. They're not putting any more thought into it. That's where you come in to put your thought into your own illness. Don't worry about what your mama think. Don't worry about what your friends think. Don't worry about what your pastor think. You have to deal with you, because those people are independent. They're sentient beings. They're not with you. You're with you. And so our mind is really the only thing that we can control. It's the only thing we can control. We can't control anybody else. We can't control our bodies in a great sense, to a great extent, but we can control our mind and how the mindset we take into things can help us come out of bad things, and how our mindset can help us in the rest of our lives in managing bad things and good things, and the fact that it can inspire other people to try to do better. So our mindset is extremely important. No matter what you've been through, your mindset is what's key. Sure, everybody goes through something different, but I look at it like this: everybody has their 9/11.
I like that.
What may be tragic for you may not have been tragic or trauma-inducing for someone else, but it's their trauma, it's their pain, it's their issue. And just like with the mental illness, it's your mental illness to control. So if we can start getting that mindset and seeing mental illness as something more manageable, mental health, we forget the health aspect. Like I'm a diabetic, I have to take insulin every day. I have to take my pills every day. It's I have exacerbation, I have good days, I have bad days, but it's my life. And once we get people saying that you can have a life with a mental illness and not be ostracized and not feel ashamed, it'll get so much better for everybody.
Oh, so much better. So much better. That acceptance is a big part.
Yeah, because we deal with a lot of judgment. I get judged a lot because of my mental illness. I get judged a lot. People don't take the chance to get to know me. I deal with a lot of lack of family, lack of human contact, because people still have that thing about mental illness, and I'm so open about it. Everybody knows it. So, it's a weird thing to sort of deal with. But if we can get people feeling comfortable saying I have a mental illness or I'm going through something, that's gonna make a world of difference.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay.
Period. And even myself, I'm a therapist, and I'm not no different than nobody else. I got the same issues and problems and stuff like everybody else, and I'm free to talk about it with my clients, with my family, with my friends, right? And that's what makes people want to come to see me, because I'm not gonna lie, right? If I have a bad day and I'm not gonna be a great therapist, I'm gonna call out. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm not gonna be a good therapist today because I'm feeling sad. I'm going through a thing, or I'm not held to any different standard than anybody else just because I have some education and some knowledge and a gift, right? And so, but I'm going. The best thing I can do for the clients and the people that I'm working with is be transparent and say, hey, I do know what you're going through. I know what it's like to not want to live. I know what it's like to be so depressed that I couldn't get up, right? I know what it's like to be so anxious I couldn't function. I know what it's like. Right. And so this is why I can help you, because I know what it's like. And these are the things and the steps that I've taken, right, to be able to get better and do better. And I'm still working on it. I'm always right. George and I check on each other every single day. Good.
Every day.
Good. You need anything? Don't forget your self-care. Make sure you're taking a nap. Hey, you're going too hard. Sit down. Right. Because we need that accountability with each other, and the people around us. That tells me that George cares when he check in with me. Right. Are you manic today? Like, well, what are you feeling like? And to have somebody that understands it, somebody that truly understands it. Right. I don't have to explain that to George. I know what he's saying when he called, and he knows we don't have to explain it. Right. I already know. Right. And that's part of like that, which is why, again, that I chose to focus on marginalized and disenfranchised folks, to focus on Black people, focus on minorities, because they don't have to come and tell me what living like a Black person is like. They don't have to describe to me what discrimination feels like. They don't have to. I'm not going to say, man, I think you're trying to play the Black card. No. No, that's real. That person was following you, and if you felt it, that's what was happening. Okay, now how do we deal with that, and how do we manage that? We can't control the things on the outside of us, but what can we handle on the inside of us, right? When I decided to focus my practice on mostly us, it was after George Floyd got murdered, and everybody was hitting the streets, and they was protesting and all that stuff, and I was like, well, I'm not a protester. I'm not going to go out there with a sign and stand in, but what can I do? What is my call to action when it comes to this? Well, you know what? I'm gonna reserve 95% of my seats in my practice for my people. Right. I'm gonna be intentional about focusing on my people, right? And I always say I'm prejudiced, but I don't discriminate. So, but if you're not of color and you want to come see me, I'll see you. Right. But I'm not going to change who I am and how I do things. I'm going to be no bullshit all day long. I'm going to be as Black as I possibly can be, but you're going to have to accept my delivery, because I'm not going to, change who I am in order to meet your need. Right. And all that stuff, because I want to help my people. That's the goal. Right. Because you have more options than my people have. So I want to be one of those options.
True. And one thing too, you have to keep in mind, anytime, this is a cautionary tale for those that really choose to try to be healthy and deal with their mental and emotional health and deal with recovery in general. You're going to lose people in your life.
Period. Yeah.
It might be your mama, might be your kids, might be your wife, might be your husband. Let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah. I have this friend that said, if it's not helping you grow, it's got to go.
Right. If it's not helping you grow, if it's holding you back, or if you realize you hadn't been focus on yourself and your recovery and your mental health and your health, and do you so you can be the best you can be for yourself, because otherwise you can't do anything for anybody else.
Nothing.
It's not happening. I'm a living example of that. I went and pulled my cup till it was dead and wondered, then everything went to pot. Now I'm working on myself for the first time in my life, and it's making a world of difference. And a lot of this is due to my mental health. I neglected it.
Yeah.
I just treat it as, oh, it's just part of me. I don't have to manage it, or I don't. Well, I can still be around this person even though they trigger the hell out of me. And no, I had to start paying attention to my health, and I've just been doing this since the first of the year. This made a world of difference. So that's how I can sit here today and tell you about my journey and how things work and what it's really, really like. Not saying that your experience is going to mirror mine, but at least it's going to have to give you a little bit of a warning of what to look out for, and how to function and how to do.
Yeah. I think the best thing that we can do is share our experiences with others. People want to be seen, heard, and understood. And the best way that we can do that is to share with each other, you know, what we're going through. And so when you don't feel alone in a thing, you heal. Yeah. You heal because I got you in this with me. Like let's hold hands and walk this thing together, right? Mm-hmm. Because mental illness and mental health can be isolating, right? And it's because of stigmas. It's because of those things. Like you said, George, like people will run away. Oh Lord, they crazy. You know.
I'm telling you the thing I deal with. People don't see me. People don't see me. All they see is the bipolar. And these are people quote unquote close to me.
Oh, see, yeah.
They're supposed to know me. That's all they see. That's just that's part of life. You know. Mm-hmm. You know, unfortunately, a kid with cancer, no matter how he beats cancer, how old he get, he gonna always be that kid that beat cancer.
With cancer. Thank you.
We defined by illness, and that's sad. And that's sad, but people do that. So it's okay. Well, we just got to learn to deal with ourselves and get comfortable being alone and being in solitude sometimes. That don't mean being lonely, but just understanding you are all you have in life. My only blood relatives I have anything to do with my two sons. I'm okay with that because I dealt with my mental health. Right. If I had not been dealing with my mental health, all these other things, all these other life stimuli would drive me crazy. But it just goes to show, if you deal with your mental health, you can deal with life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
You can have a greater sense of clarity. It's not easy, but it's something we have to endeavor upon.
Right. I agree.
Okay. That was nice. Okay. I think from what you just said, I feel like I should just say a bit of myself, how I dealt with. Should I say it's late? It was challenging though. Well, obviously, if you look at me, I'm black. Yeah. So. As a kid, I was given a lot of names. Some people called me the black boy. They called me Chaco. Okay. I think one of the most abusive words someone have given to me was the person looked at me and told me that you look like under the bed. Right. Like that under the bed. And apart from that, my uncle then decided to add another phrase to Blackie input. He noticed that I love talking, so the next called me the black talkative. So I grew up as in bearing that as my second name. That to understand that if I'm walking down the streets and someone that doesn't know me just wants to call out for me my attention, the person will just call, "Hey Blackie," I'll just talk. That's not my name, but it's been a part of me. I've thought to stop it several times when I was young. Sometimes I even engage in physical fights because telling them orally was not doing anything. So body shaming, the label was so much on me that I became isolated. I was not coming out more often. I became a bit scared to answer questions in class or speak up. Or I think one of the good things I did was, first of all, I decided to accept myself for who I am. I fell in love with myself and the color I was born with.
Right.
Yes.
I went as far as telling people that no. That have you ever heard that white is beautiful, black is beautiful? That's what we hear every time. And we hear that black is original. I love my color the way I am. And I went as far as using a Bible scripture to actually defend myself when it comes to argument. I was like, the books of Sons of Solomon said, I am black and beautiful. So I went ahead to tell people that if I want to be yellow tomorrow or be skin or have my skin yellow, I'll just get to the market and buy a cream, and in less than 2 weeks, I'll pop up. but you can't get to the market and buy any cream that will make you black. So using these words as my defense strategy, I adopted to accept myself the way I am. I started speaking up about it. I tell
Right.
people about it. So I would like, my question is this to you, Mr. George. I would like you to just tell us how you were able to deal with it, that just notable steps you took that made it easier for you to deal with this and have a good life the way you are right now.
Accountability. Realizing that with everything I've been through in life, I had to take accountability for my part in it first. Then forgive myself for it. Don't blame myself for it. Then work on correcting those mistakes. And then just processing with external factors like other people. See, that's the thing when you're dealing with a mental illness. Like I said, you can't control anything outside of you. So that's why you're going to be so apt to losing people and having relationships get damaged and fractured and torn up. It's just how it's going to be. So, that's just the great difficulty of it. And that's okay. I mean, sometimes people are only meant to be in your life for a season. They're not meant to be there forever. Even our kids aren't meant to be in our lives all our lives, I don't believe. So, that's just the way I've dealt with it. I dealt with accountability. I dealt with my part in it. I dealt with how I felt. I dealt with my emotions. I processed a lot. And then I started working on the outside of myself. And that's been the hard part. The dealing with myself, that was easy. It's the dealing with those external stimulus from people. And then especially when people want to kind of turn the screws and things like that, and that's what makes it hard. That's the only thing that makes it hard for dealing with somebody with a mental illness is they deal with a lot from family. They ostracized. A lot of them are put out the house. A lot of them are told they're less than nothing. And that's just part of the deal. But I dealt with it, but just by falling back upon myself. And I'm just something I'm still learning to do every day.
Okay. As I hope we are learning. If I have to do a recap of what he all said, I think he has said a whole lot. The way he just took it up, accountability, it was wow. He was certain of that word. Then he talked about forgiving himself, accepting himself the way he is, and dealing with himself, and then making sure that you understand that you will lose people definitely because not everybody will love you for who you are, where you are. So because of time, I think we have to switch. Let's have our next speaker talk to us. Okay, briefly, let me just read a brief bio about her, then we continue. Okay. Mr. George, thank you so much for the time. We'll get back to you soon. Okay. Mrs. Shawnnel is a licensed professional counselor, mental health coach, and the trailblazing force behind Choosing Empowerment, an innovative mental health agency born to demolish barriers that stand in the way of psychological well-being. She is a relentless advocate for mental health wellness, specializing in several marginalized and disfranchised communities. Shawnnel's mission is clear to educate, empower, and eradicate the stigma attached to mental health. Shawnnel's commitment to this mission is evident in her choice to serve in Louisiana, Texas, Georgia, and Minnesota, and her span to Singapore. Shawnnel is a true pioneer in the field. Her unwavering commitment to fostering healthy relationships with our communities have placed her at the forefront of education and stigma busting in the world and mental and emotional health. Her vision is a world where mental health services are delivered with authenticity, honesty, and emotional safety, prompting her to internationally train the next generation of culturally competent therapists who are committed to the mission through internship and supervision. Shawnnel's refreshingly no BS approach represents a much needed shift in the delivery of mental health services. Shawnnel is a sought after speaker at conferences, events, and podcasts, where she brings her unapologetic message of mental health reform. Her podcast, FTBS Podcast, is a testament to her dedication to changing the game in mental health services. So her signature topics include power of choice, power of healthy relationships, being your authentic self, mental health and Black community, foster, adoption and mental health, formerly incarcerated mental health, breaking barriers, breaking cycles, LGBTQIA and mental health, holistic care in mental health, and wellness and self-care. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mrs. Shawnnel Batiste.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Hello. Hello. Fine, thank
Hi.
you. Fine, thank you.
You're very welcome. Very, very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what you want to know?
A whole lot.
A whole lot.
A whole
I
lot.
got a lot to tell. I just feel like we're going to be doing this for, we should just schedule to do this on a regular basis. I'm just saying, because there's a lot to say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
Okay.
Okay. Let me know whether we can do this now. Okay. Now, during the introduction, you said something about how you adopted 5 ladies, 5 girls,
Yes.
and on, I'm trying to I'm trying to understand how how do you deal with them? Guys, to me, I have over 67 children at the space, and on a regular basis, dealing with them, training sessions, controlling, giving instructions, and trying to make sure they are disciplined or they are following instructions, keeping to the rules of the space is a whole lot. Like
Yes.
almost every day, if taking paracetamol daily is hygienic, I would have been doing that every day. Because after a whole day, I have to go and take a serious 1 hour nap to calm myself.
Yeah. You got to take a nap.
Yes. Seriously. But now, wait, first, do you live with them in the same house?
Not anymore, but I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was me and my ex-husband. I have 2 biological girls who were younger than my adopted girls, and then I had the 5. So it was 7 girls in the house, me and my ex-husband.
Okay. So can you tell us a bit of how this started?
How that got there? Okay. So first, I always tell people that when they ask how I became a mental health therapist or why I decided this, I was born this way. It's a gift, right? And so I nurtured my gift by going to school and doing what the people say I needed to do in order to help my people, right? Part of that journey has always been connecting to other people and specifically to children. And so I used to work in a few places where I either fostered the children or I worked as what I would call a professional parent in different organizations where I was able to be basically a mother in these children's lives who didn't have parents or were in the foster care system. So one of those organizations, my husband and I at the time, we worked there, and there were children that were in our house that stayed there for like 2 or 3 years. He was working there for about 3 years, and we had been there for so long. When we left, the caseworkers and all started wanting to put them in our house as foster children when we left the organization. So some of those children came to most of the children that we had were kids that we had taken care of while we were working for that organization. And for the most part, for those 3 years, we were their parents. And so they had thrived. We were great at what we did. Like we had a 97% success rate of kids leaving our home and going into a lesser restrictive care, right? And so when we left, one of the caseworkers called and was like, these kids have been in and out of the system since they were little, and this is the most success that they've had is being in your home. Are you going to do foster care? I need them back in your home. I'm also having trouble finding Black foster parents who are great at their job, at taking care of these kids. Will you take these kids? And there was a sibling set, it was 2 of them. When those kids came in, we was like, yeah, of course, absolutely. So those kids got there. They had a sister, and she was in another foster home. And we already knew her because that's part of our thing at this place was that we always would invite the siblings. They used to only get a visit once a month. And so it was like, you need to see your siblings more often than that. We'll invite them over. And so we would invite the siblings over and have them spend time with their siblings more than once a month. And so we was talking one day and planning for their future and talking about, graduation and this and that. And I told my ex-husband that I said, we can't plan the future for kids that belong to the system, because they can come and take these kids out of our house whenever they feel like it. They're not our kids. So if we're going to plan for their future, we need to adopt them. And we agreed at that point that we would adopt them. And so we decided to adopt the two that we had in our home. The sibling came over. We talked to the sibling and said, she asked her she wanted to be adopted, because we really don't believe in breaking everybody up if we don't have to. They had a brother that we attempted to adopt, but he was almost 18 and had been in his home for a long time. So it was hard for him to transition. So we didn't adopt him. And then there were one of our daughters really graduated the foster care system, but didn't really have a place to go afterwards. So we took her. And we had one more after that she went through every placement possible, and she had run out of placements, and basically nobody wanted her, and so she was our baby too. So we adopted her too. And so we ended up with the 5 and a house of 7, and I don't tell anybody that it was an easy task. They were all teenagers. The youngest one was about 11 at the time. Blending them with our children was hard. They still had all the issues that they had as little kids and all that, but we just loved them through it. They all grown now. I got like 9 or 10 grandkids. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes they talk to me, sometimes they don't, but I don't take it personally. I tell all of them, I chose to be your mother on purpose, and I'm gonna love you regardless. I don't expect you not to love your mama because she brought you here. I'm glad your mama had you because I had opportunity to be in your life, and that's it. It's my adoption story.
Okay. So let's dive in. That is powerful. Wow. I have 2 foreign friends right now that we added to my list. Okay. I'm just happy that both of you have a very big heart for what you guys are doing. Is amazing. It's awesome. So, Ms. Shawnnel, I believe that there is a certain time you faced a lot of challenges as a teenager, a young lady, and before now.
Absolutely.
I like, from my own part, I normally use my personal experience when I talk to people about how I was able to deal with my personal difficult stage as struggling with body shaming and the bullying, the name calling, and a whole lot of things. So I don't know whether you can help us throw highlight on that topic, body positivity, stereotypes, labels, and just give us ideas on ways people can actually, what these things are, what they do to people if they don't take care of it on time, and ways people can actually battle it.
Okay. So we are a product of our experiences, right? We are who we are because of the things that we've gone through. Our first relationships are with our parents. That's who we're born to. That's our first relationship. We're born into these families, and you only know what you know, right? And if you don't believe that you are worthy of the best, then you behave like you're not worthy of the best. And then you impart that on your children, right? Because you can only teach them what you know, right? You can only be to them who you are, right? And so I, just like most of us, come from a family where my mother had low self-worth, right? And her mother had low self-worth, and her mother had, like, like a long line of low self-worth, right? And so much of, like, the body positivity or how you look or all of this is so much based in outside influences, right? We're told whether Black is good or not, right? We have to figure out later that Black is great, right? But initially we told you too dark, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that, your hair too big, you know, like they're telling us how to feel about ourselves, right? Now so we grab those narratives and we believe them because we don't have anything to counteract that, right? The media, the TV, the move, all that had skinny white girls with the long hair. And so I don't see myself. I don't see nobody that represents me in my environment. And every time I walk into a store, they got size 2s, but they don't have size 22s. You know, like everything in the world surrounding me is saying, you're not good enough. You don't fit into the standard, right? That's where that shame comes from, right? And so, and my mother, again, like I got heavy like the summer of my when I was 12, right? We used to go to my grandmother's house every summer. We used to go to our grandparents' house every summer. And then that particular summer, you know, the hormones was kicking in, you know, my hips was growing, you know, and then I ain't want to run around and play like I did. And I sat and I ate, you know, and Papa brought home all the candy, right? But when I got back home, I was a little chunky, right? The first thing my mother told me when I hit the screen door was, you're fat. She didn't even say hello. She said, you're fat, right? That defined what I felt about myself for years to come, right?
Yeah.
And then she moved forward in that and started controlling. And it was her own issue. It was her own issue and her own fear, right? Projected onto me. And then she started controlling the food, right? You can't have this, you can't have that, you can have this, you can't have that, right? And stuff like that. And so adversely, food became my friend, right? And so I continued to gain weight, you know, but not feeling good about myself. And when I put something on you and you're too fat for that, don't wear that, right? And so that's a constant jab at your confidence and you feeling great in your body and, you know, and all of those things, right? And so I carried that right into my adulthood. Now, I always thought I was beautiful, but I definitely thought I was fat too, right? And it took even for me to graduate high school and look back at my yearbook and I was like, oh my God, I wasn't fat. I wasn't fat, but I couldn't see that at that time. All I could see was through the eyes that my mother taught me to see through and what society taught me to see through.
Right.
I can't fit in this dress, so I must be fat, right? You know, plus I start at 12, right? And all that. And so when I go to the doctor, that body mass index thing, that stupid thing that they always use to tell you whether you're too fat or not, whether you're morbidly obese and all that, like that's based on their standard, not my body size, you know, not how my hips grow, you know, and stuff like that. Not from my Black culture. This is how we shaped, you know, and stuff like that. So at 5'2", at 5'2", I will never be like 175 to 125 pounds. Not with this butt, you know, it's not going to happen, right? So I had to learn to accept my body for what it is, and that and the societal standard, right? Because boys like big girls too, but they wasn't allowed to say it out loud, or they would say, oh, you like the fat girl? Well, like what? You know, come on, George. You know what I'm saying? You know, but so we as people, first of all, is accepting who we are and that all of our women are beautiful and all of our men are handsome and all that. Like I got teased because I like chocolate boys. You know, I always like the blacker the better. And then you like the chocolate? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. And stuff like that. You know, I tried to marry a chocolate man so I could have chocolate babies. You know what I'm saying? They brown skinned, it turned out all right, you know, and stuff like that. But people did not understand that, right? But I still stood my ground though. Like, you know, that's who I love, like, and stuff like that. When George talked about accountability and authenticity and all that, and it's talking to yourself every single day and I had to stand in the mirror butt naked and look at my body and accept it and say, I'm okay. I started with I'm okay, and I worked up to I'm fine as hell. You know, but that takes time because it didn't get in you in one. It didn't take one comment to get it in you. It took several. It took we learn by repetition. A subconscious and all that is learned is repetition. And from birth to maybe 7, 8-ish, you a sponge. Your brain is just sucking all the stuff in. Your brain waves at a level that is just sucking in whatever come to you. And that becomes your belief system, right?
Right.
And so now, as older people, as adults or whatever, when you're trying to heal that thing, you have to deprogram that and then reprogram with the right stuff, right? That's hard. It's hard, right? It's why we encourage, get you a therapist, get you a coach, get you an accountability partner, talk to somebody. Let's destigmatize the thing or whatever. Put images in your space that represent you, right? So my idols became people like Jill Scott, big girls. You know, I'm down for the big girls, right? You know, because they look like me, they represent me, right? And so it's all encompassing. And me and George talk all the time about like it's not a quick fix. It's not a one-hitter quitter, right? You're not gonna just take medicine and get better. You're not gonna just go to therapy and get better. Like it is holistic. It is how you eat. It is how you treat yourself. It is how you talk to yourself. It's who you surround yourself with. It's what you tolerate. Like all of it is encompassing, right? You're like, we are spirits living in bodies, and we have to take care of our bodies. We get to tell our bodies and our brains what to do, right? Because my brain is not who I am. My spirit is who I am, right? And so my spirit gets to dictate what my body is going to do. But we have been trained and taught that we don't have that control, but we absolutely do. We just have to retrain ourselves that we do and learn how, right? That's what going to a therapist is about. That's what coming to forums like this is about. You get educated. You talk about the things. You know, I learned how to call myself fat before other people did because I didn't want them to hurt me, right? You know, and Ambassador, you mentioned like stuff used to just answer to Blackie, right? And all it was that, you know, some of that is an acceptance of, oh, well, this is how they see me, you know, but then you have to empower that thing. Yeah, I'm fat, but that's not a bad thing, right? You know, and so you change the narrative, right? It's the same thing in, you know, in America that we've done with the N-word, right? It's like, this is my word. I'm going to use it for empowerment. You can't use it because you're using it to degrade, right? You know, you take the power from the folks that's using it to try to keep you down. You empower yourself, right? And all that. And that is a choice, which is why I call my business Choosing Empowerment. You have to make the choice that you want to be different. You have to make the choice that I don't want to live like this anymore, right? I don't want to be sad. I don't want to feel bad about trying on clothes, right? I'm going to make so what do I need to do to fix that? I need to seek some help. I need to ask some questions, right? Because I didn't get here by myself, so I'm not going to get out of here by myself. But I need to attach myself to the right people that's going to encourage me. So even now, if I call myself fat and it seems like it's in a degrading way, my kids, my best friend, everybody will counteract that thing quick. Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Right? That's accountability. That's accountability. That even when I'm down on myself, because we're going to have days like that, even as you're healing, right? And all that somebody's going to be like, hey, nope, remember the script. No, you fine as hell, you know, and having that reminder, right, and stuff. So, and that goes with everything. That's not just the body thing. That's the mind thing. If you have a parent that's calling you dumb, if you have people around you that don't, like say, if there's people that don't look like you, right? I work with a young person in Singapore right now who's the only Black child in his entire grade. And it's hard. It's very hard for him, right? And so because you need at least one other person to be able to look on and be like, did you hear that? Ain't that crazy? You know, so you feel like you're in it with them, with somebody, right? And all that. Our community, as Africans, as Black people, like they have torn us so much apart, right? You know, in America, we have had this understanding that Africans don't like us because we're American, right? And stuff. And so That's a narrative that they fed so that we can separate, right? When we need to be coming together, right? And so when George told me about that, I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, let's do this, right? Because we need to create a new narrative that says we are one people. We are one people, and we're working toward the same goal of healing and becoming better and being stronger. You know, like that, like we can't let anybody do the divide and conquer thing anymore. No more, right?
And we have to remember that sickness and division are profitable.
Yeah,
there's no long-term profit in unity or cure.
That's right.
So society wants to keep us sick.
Right.
And we just have to make sure we don't fall for that.
Don't fall for it. Don't fall. My heart was so broken when I first heard that people in Africa was buying bleaching cream. And I'm like, what? Not my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You know? No, like that's your what? You know, and the more African people that I met and clients and all that, like they're everybody confirms. And I was like, that is freaking like in the native land. No way do you come to where I live and tell me that I don't belong in the skin. And what? That's ridiculous, right? And we got to fight back against that. We have to fight back against that, right? You know, because again, here, like we of course in America, we knew we was getting it, right? And all that stuff. Like they just passed a law last in 2023 that I could wear my hair like this in corporate America without it being seen as unkempt, right? You know, they had to pass legislation for me to wear my hair like it grew out of my scalp. That's crazy, right? But that in itself teaches us like that's the system that's giving us this narrative, right? And all that's exactly why we don't understand mental illness. That's exactly why, because if I teach you that the voices in your head is what make you crazy, and that might and maybe there was a tribe in a village somewhere that saw that as a spiritual awakening or something, you know, and maybe that's power, you know, but if I demonize it, then you crazy. So you can't use your power because you think it's crazy, right? It is all a mind game. Right. It's all a mind game. And if you can trick the masses, what Kanye says it the best, and I love Kanye. And he says, the truth seems crazy in a world full of lies.
Right.
So when you're telling the truth about something, if they can make you look crazy, then they can keep up the narrative that they're speaking, right? And so George said, forums like this and continue to talk about it, right? That is what's going, like, you know, my best friend has this phrase that says, our words keep us safe, right? If I can teach you not to open your mouth when you need to open your mouth, then I can keep you trapped in your mind. And I can tell you whatever I want you to it's a big gaslight. It's a gigantic control thing, right? And all that, right? You know, and so we have to change that narrative. And go ahead.
I was just gonna have a side note, but you go ahead and finish.
Yeah, and in that means, can we change the whole system, you know, and break it? No, we can't. No, but one person at a time, one group at a time, you know, 5 people at a time. But every person that we reach, everybody that you can plant a seed and have them start thinking differently, makes a difference, right? You know, and we see that even now with TikTok, right? Everybody want to ban TikTok, but it's the space where everybody can come and say whatever they choose and nobody's judged. They could come in their bonnet, they could come in their night clothes, they could come with no makeup on, and they can say whatever their truth is, and nobody judges, right? And if somebody does judge, somebody else can come over there and stitch it and say, I didn't like that, right? And it's free speech. It's true free speech, you know, to an extent, because they still try to censor you and quiet your stuff, you know, when you're talking too much. But we've learned how to do that too, right? And all that. But they understand that unity is the enemy of what they're doing. Right. And it always has been. It's just that as the world opens up, right, as technology becomes more available, and you know, and like we're doing this continent to continent right now, right? And all that, where that wasn't like that before. So now we can talk about the things. Now I know that my African brothers and sisters don't hate me because I can talk to them directly.
Right.
And I don't have to be dependent upon the images that they put on TV to tell me what Africa is and what it looks like. Right. I can talk to the people directly and I can get the truth. Right. And so we have to keep talking. I think that is our biggest, got to get rid of the stigma. We got to keep talking. Right. And I'm even looking at the comments like Aduanna, you said it the other day, like people have no clue. They have no clue, like even the definition
of mental illness. And I want to jump in on this because I think it's important, because I'm glad you just brought up the fact that the notion of us having more discussions. One thing that I really want everybody to be careful of and having this or any other important discussions, be careful of the verbiage we use. We shouldn't be using words like psycho, crazy, nut. You know, your slang, they're not even applicable to mental illness. They're not. They're not medical terms for
terminology. Yeah.
That's just an opinion. Hey, he nuts. That don't mean you have any. So let's be careful of that. Like one term I personally hate is gaslighting. I tell you why, because it's totally overused to the point it doesn't mean anything. And usually the people that accuse you of it are the very ones that are doing it. Are the ones that are always doing it, whether they realize it or not. So let's just be careful about the terms we use in our discussions and make sure we're providing a safe place, but yet getting our needs met and our questions answered.
Right. Absolutely.
But no psychopop jargon, none of this stuff that's trending, all these terms and mentally ably differented and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. You know, and it's like I like to use mental wealth, you know, as a term, right? Because just like we work at, you know, getting our finances healthy and becoming wealthy, like that's in every area of our life. We talk about abundance and all that. Abundance is not just money. Abundance is not, it's family, it's time, it's, you know, your mental, like it's all of it. Health. Like abundance don't just mean cash, right? You know, take away your cash, what you got, right? And stuff like that. We need to be wealthy in every aspect, right? You know, and stuff like that. And like if you go into the word, it says he came that we might have life and have life more abundantly. Life more abundantly. Like not money more abundant, like life, all of it. Right. And in order to work on all of it, then we got to work together at all of it. But that also means getting to know you, right? And checking your flaws and saying, hey, here's an area where I need some help in. Here's an area that I'm not good at, right? Because we are not perfect people by far. And we'll never be, but you should always be striving to be better. Every day you strive to be better and better and better. But there'll always be something come up, right? The universe will always challenge you to see where you at. You know, did you learn that lesson or do we have to do this again? Right? And all that. And every time it comes, you should be ready for the challenge, right? And you should do better every time it comes around, right? And then you need to pat yourself on the back when you do well at it, like giving yourself praise, you know, because I mean, that's another thing that in our communities that is an issue because, you know, one, if you do something for yourself, you're too selfish, you don't want to, you know, or being proud of yourself is being arrogant. And no, confidence is different than arrogance.
Because see, when you're black, you're arrogant. When you're white,
when you're white, you're confident. Exactly.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Exactly. But stop giving that narrative too. There's so many people in my clients that I'm like, they're like, you know, they're not being proud of themselves. They're not giving themselves, you know, the props that they need when they do a thing. No, you did a good job. You could pat yourself on the back, be like, I'm proud of myself. Hell yeah, you did a good job, right? Because that's how you build confidence. You build confidence by rewarding yourself, whether it's verbally, whether it's, you know, get a piece of pie, whether it's buy yourself outfit, get the nails done, whatever it is. I did a good job at this thing, so I deserve to treat myself very well, right?
Right.
And all that. Which is about, George, I feel like you was about to say something.
No.
Okay. All right.
Okay. That was deep. A whole lot of knowledge. A whole lot of knowledge. Oh God, Jesus. I wish this is like a physical conference. I'll pack out the whole hall for this kind of question. I don't mind drinking. I'll pay for buses. People should just come and listen to us. God, I feel like we should do this more often. Like we should do this often.
I think so too.
I'm already thinking of maybe our next session of will be like having Mr. George come and talk about addiction and recovery.
Okay.
Or entrepreneur. I have a whole lot of young teenagers that are interested in making money.
Let me tell you something. If you make a list of the stuff you want to talk about, me and George can talk all day about everything.
All day.
All day about everything.
So, Mr. Aduanna, what do you think? So, you need to start rescheduling right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We start planning a second session. Let's
okay.
You know, I mean, we could do this once a month if you want. It don't matter.
Yeah, that'd be great. I love
it.
Yeah.
Like my goal is even to get licensed there, right? To find out what I need to do to be able to provide services there and all that. Because again, my goal is to help my people, period.
Okay.
You know, by any means necessary.
And I'm always available to come over there and speak.
Yeah, we'll have
come
over there. You know.
Yeah. So talking about that, Mr. George and I and Mrs. Shawnnel, we've been talking a lot about mental illness, how it affects Africans. Also,
it's breaking up a little bit.
You're breaking. I don't know.
Talk again.
You're breaking. You're breaking. I can't hear you properly.
I think it's your headphones, though.
Hello.
Say hello again. It's jumping in and out.
Yeah, it's jumping in and out.
Okay. There is a question someone dropped. A lot of people dropped a lot of stuff on the chat box. I heard you guys mentioning about them, but there is a particular question someone dropped. I think like I don't know if you can actually look at it. The person said, "What's the difference between mental health people and psycho and madness?" I know that a lot of people misunderstand. Whenever someone mentions mental health, it has happened to me before. I went to a school and when I said I'm here to talk about mental health, one of the students just said, "But we are not mad now." So they always think that when you talk about mental health, it means the person is mentally retarded or there is this. Yeah, the person is psycho. That's the thought they have. So I believe the person that posted that question also said that he or she feels that whenever someone talks about mental health, he believes that there are people that just have low self-esteem. That means this person does not have a deep knowledge about mental health. This doesn't know what mental health is all about. Right. This kind of people might actually be struggling with one or two challenges or difficulties that has to do with mental health, but because I have not actually had sessions to talk about it or listening to people talk about it, so the person cannot identify what he or she is dealing with. I had a friend that up till now, he doesn't know that he had OCD. Right. He doesn't know. He feels like he's in being hygienic, he's neat. Yeah. Clean. But he doesn't know that it's related to something that he has. The first I told him about dirty OCD was like, Ambassador, what do you mean that I have a dirty OCD? Like me. I'm like, yes. I've seen you several occasions that small thing my boss used to call him soft boy because little stuff we would just do, he would rush to the restroom to go and wash his hand.
Yep, germaphobe.
After a while, just under 1 hour wearing a sweatshirt, you will see me want to go home and take his bed. He's already feeling sweaty or somehow sticky. I was trying to tell him that he said he doesn't share cups. He doesn't if he goes to a restaurant to buy beer, he doesn't share cup. He rather drink from the bottle directly, or he doesn't take at all. He uses a straw. He has issues, but he doesn't know it was related to something. The day I sat him down and explained to him, till today, he's trying to actually blend in, when it comes to a public place, he's trying to be confident to take a cup someone has used to drink, but he's still thinking about it. No, I can't do that. He's still trying to battle it. So I feel like a lot is happening, but in letting the what that person said, the person does not know the difference between mental health and the psycho madness kind of mental related issue. I don't know if there's a way we can actually have a differentiation to what is mental health. That's what I'm trying to say. What is mental health, and how can you differentiate it with someone that is mentally deranged?
Okay.
Well, deranged is kind of one of those words we kind of.
I'm just gonna say that.
Use the word deranged. I mean, to me, when people use those words like deranged, talking about mental illness, it's like calling me the N word.
Thank you.
I take great offense to it. Great offense. So let's not use words like mad, psychotic, deranged. You're sick. Yeah. So I mean, if somebody got brain cancer, somebody got any kind of cancer, I'm not going to call them deranged. They sick.
Right. That's it.
Same thing. So, you know, it's just we just have to. We got a long way to go. You know, we still at the vernacular. You know, we hadn't even started the car yet, and we got a cross country trip to make.
Thank you.
So I think this is this has been a good start. I think next time we could talk about the vernacular and talk more about what it is to have a mental illness, and maybe I can go in detail as far as what it's like.
Right.
Because I'm very visceral in my description of it. That's why I feel like I reach a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then we can just keep on with discussions and just build forward. But you know, and I understand that the verbiage, I'm not making a big deal of it, but because it will stop a lot of conversations before they even get started.
That's the thing, right? Because even as you're talking, like, I looked up deranged, and it literally says crazy and insane. Then the definition of insane is unable to think or act in a normal or logical way, especially because of severe mental illness, right? And so,
and that's such a bullshit definition.
And it's a bullshit yeah, it absolutely is, right? And all that. So what I have defined on my own, just, you know, being a human being and having experiences along with my clinical expertise combined, right, is because all of us have something. Everybody got something, right? Even when I was in school and we was going through that DSM and we was learning about psychological disorders, my instructor said, okay, when we start going through this stuff, don't resist the urge to start diagnosing people based upon the little things that you see in them, right? Because all of us have a little something, right? But there's a difference between wanting to be clean and hygienic and obsessing over the thought, the possibility of a germ getting on you, right? When it interrupts your life, I see that as the crossover to an illness, right? You know, I think, you know, because I say we all experience nervousness. We all get nervous, right? We all have a certain level of anxiety, and there's some normalized anxiety. Like, you know, if I'm gonna go speak in front of a crowd, I probably would get nervous, right? I get some butterflies, right? But there's a difference between that and obsessing over the thought of walking into any room because everybody is going to think I'm fat or ugly or whatever it is my brain decides to say, right? And so I am debilitated and I cannot walk into that room to get what I need to get, a classroom, whatever it is. I can't walk in there if they got other people in there because I'm obsessing. So it's interrupting my life, right? You know, we all get sad. We all have some depression. We have grief, right? When it interrupts your life to the point you can't function, and I can't go to work, and I can't take care of my kids, and I'm working so much that I'm ignoring everything else, then it's crossed the line of illness, right? Because it's interrupting my ability to take care of the things that I need to take care of. I can't maintain relationships because I'm flying off the handle all the time. I can't manage my emotions, mental illness, right? And all that.
And mental illnesses, you can see them in blood work. You can see them on CT
scan. Absolutely.
It's not like it's something that's on somebody's mind. If you do a CT scan of somebody's brain with bipolar,
you can see it.
You can see it there. So
right.
it's not in somebody's mind. It's not a matter of someone having low self-esteem
Self-esteem
or just being abused or just this or just that. It's an illness.
Are those things behavioral side effects of it? Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
connected.
behavior side effects. But yeah,
but in itself, a child that's neglected, their brain doesn't form in the same way as a child that's been nurtured. Period. It affects the actual brain chemistry, the brain composition, right? It's smaller. The neural pathways are not working like it should be working. It is a physical thing, people. It's a fit like Joe said. It's just like if I got diabetes, my pancreas ain't working like it's supposed to be working. Right?
So it's not like, and I'll reiterate this just because it's part of the discussion. It's not an evil spirit.
It's not evil spirit.
You're not cursed. You're not none of that stuff. You sick.
You're sick.
You just gotta treat it.
Yeah, that's it.
Treat it and do the best you can. It's I mean, because I see so many people, especially in the motherland, that have these antiquated notions, and it's really getting in the way.
Yes,
you got people that still think it's a spirit. It's not.
You
got people still thinking it's just, they just have low esteem. They aren't motivated. They aren't focused. That's not it. It's as simple as that. We have to start dealing with reality. Right. And we keep our heads in the sand, and we're not noticing what's going on around us and what's killing us.
Exactly. And then there's the difference between having certain mental health issues versus an actual brain dysfunction like ADHD, right? And all that. And I don't even call it a dysfunction because I have ADHD. My brain works different. It needs more what's called dopamine. It needs more activity, right? And so I can't keep my attention on one thing for too long, or unless I'm super, super interested in it, then I can stay focused on it, right? And I lose time, right? I'm late for everything, right? And so it's just that my brain operates in differently than the average brain, which I think that's a whole nother discussion, right. And all that, people with autism, right? And like you said, they used to use the term mentally retarded, right? The every brain can be different, right? And all
like
that. Everybody's different, right? And so if we can learn to accept each and every person as an individual, what are your strengths, right? I talked to somebody this morning about, she loves admin work, right? She loves like secretarial, and for some people that might be like, oh, that's not a good job. Or no, that's a gift. The gift of administration is a real thing. I love it because I hate administration. I just want to talk to the people. You know what I'm saying? Can you do my paperwork for me? Can you do the schedule for me? Can you keep me up to date with my stuff? Because that part, I'm not good at that. That's not how my brain works. But her brain works just like my sister. Her brain worked great on administrators, right? Because each of us have our gifts and our talents and being able to utilize those. So how are we going to have the same type of brain and it work exactly the same if we all given different talents and different, that's what make the world go round, right? The construction worker is great at construction. I'm not getting out there and do construction. It's not my jam, right? So being able to, attach yourself to your gifts and your talents and doing that thing, right? Me and George both got the gift of gab, so we out here talking.
Right.
But that's one bit to step into a room and start running our mouth, right? But that's not everybody's forte. It's not everybody.
It's not everybody's calling.
It's not. And so you have to attach yourself to the thing that you are great at and believe in that and work with it, right? And even that, again, is part of our lack of motivation or low self-esteem or self-worth or whatever, because we keep getting boxed into these spaces where you need to do this because it's going to make you some money.
Right.
Well, anything you do can make you some money if you do it with a good heart and do it with all that's in you, right? Because the word also say that your gift will make room for you, right? But again, like gotta stop talking so much. We do need money to survive, but that's not the everything. It's not the everything, right? What does your quality of life look like? That's what's a lot of the sadness comes to. You don't have no quality of life. You're not enjoying yourself. Have fun, enjoy your people, enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, do things that you enjoy doing and stop getting boxed into what they say you should do. Who are they?
Because they ain't living your life.
They're not living your life. They profit.
Here's the thing, people, and this relates back to losing people when dealing with recovery from mental illness and or addiction. Look at your low points in your life and see who was there. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Everything you need to know.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. That'll tell you everything you need to know about a person. When you down and out and you going through it, if that person is there, then they work with you around. If they're not there, then that's somebody you need to not only just not deal with, but push out of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of self-preservation, and part of dealing with a mental illness and addiction is pure self-preservation. So out on that recovery, you in a life preserver. You drown,
bro.
You better say yourself first of all. You worried about dry land. Absolutely. You in deep water right now, homie. That's what you need to deal with. You worry about your mama, your kids, and all that stuff later, but right now, you the one that's drowning.
That's right.
Nobody out there to help you but you.
Come on. Thank you. Then you got to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. There's no other option.
And just understand. I mean, and I know, what I'm saying may be controversial, but it's been my experience, so that's all I can speak on. Don't rely on family, because they will turn on you quicker than anything. You own your own in life.
That's
if
right.
You got it, that's nice. That's great. Good for you.
That's cool. Yeah, it's a blessing.
If you don't got it, nut up, put on your big boy pants and get it and make it happen.
Yeah. And find your people, because they got people out there for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And find your peace.
He's not my biological brother, but he's my brother in spirit and in truth.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And all that. That's my people. I know he got my back. He know I got his back. Period. And there's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
right?
You have to
I can hold him accountable. Yeah, I can hold him accountable. He can hold me accountable. If I got it, he got it. If he got it, I got it. Right. And it doesn't matter the amount, And if I say no, I don't have it, he don't take it personal. He like, I know she had it, she would give it to me. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the purity of the relationship, right?
And we need more pure relationships.
Yes.
Too many relationships are predicated on what you can do for
me. What you can do for me,
how you make me feel, or what are you getting out of it real? Ask yourself this. Look at any relationship in your life. I did this all last year because of what I went through. I looked at everybody in my life and I dissected. Okay, I went through this. Where were they? What this? What that? And a lot of people I don't talk to no more.
Right.
I got a new phone. I left a lot of people. I didn't mind.
Well, you don't update those contacts.
Yeah, everybody don't have a new number because that was part of me protecting my mental and emotional health and my physical health by not having those negative people around me.
Right.
And a lot of times people don't know they're negative. They just who they are.
They know who they are. Yeah.
Bad people. They just who
you
they
don't have
are.
to be mad at them. They got to figure that out. Yeah.
Just keep your guard up. Don't trust anybody. I'm sorry.
Not don't trust anybody. Learn who to trust.
See, here's why, and here's the thing, and here's the beauty of these conversations. You're dealing with someone in me that's had a pretty severe life in terms of dealing with a mental illness. So my reactions are going to be more extreme.
Absolutely.
By virtue of the fact that I am bipolar.
Right.
I mean, if I love you to the ends of the earth. If I don't like you, I just don't have nothing to do with it. I just put you out. I don't even hate you. I don't love anybody enough to hate them. I don't hate anybody enough to love them. If that makes sense. They two sides of the same coin. So, my views are going to be more stringent because I've been through the 10-year cocaine addiction. I've been through the homelessness. I've been through the bad divorce. I've been through all the dysfunctional relationships in my life. So what I may tell somebody who comes to me may be different from what I tell another person who comes to me, just depending on the situation. But that doesn't mean I'm any less well-versed in talking to both.
Right. Absolutely. And it's like, I understand George's viewpoints and how he is or whatever. And I'm one that I love everybody to my detriment sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And so I had to learn to balance, right? Me and my best friend just talking about that yesterday, and how, some of us have this agape love that, I love everybody I've ever loved. I don't hate anybody. Like, I wish I could hate people because they'd be doing stupid stuff, but I don't have the capacity for that. But God made me in this way, and I have to accept that. But what I had to learn how to do is not to damage myself with it, right? I can love you, but I ain't gotta be bothered with you. You can stay over there. I'm gonna love you from way, way over, and I don't want to talk to you either, but I still love you, right? Because love don't mean doing damage to myself, right? Because I also have to love me like I love everybody else and better than I love everybody else. That has to come first, you know.
Right. And that's the booger bear that people have a hard time dealing with.
Yes.
There's no word. I've been saying no since the first of the year, just to protect my own mental health.
Yes. Yeah.
My own things I like to do, my own things I enjoy. And people don't like it, but they just gotta get used to it. And then, the thing is, that's my fault because I allowed it for so long.
You allowed, yeah, and me too.
In my own trauma, in my own issues, I made myself overly available. I was over loving people and all that, and the wrong people. Mm-hmm. But you got to stop that. So I love myself more than I love anybody else.
And that's it.
I don't care if it sounds selfish.
And it's not selfish. It's absolutely not selfish at all. Mm-hmm. Because like you said, it's a life preserver. You have to love you first. First and most.
And now there are very few people that can call me if they need something, and I'm gonna jump for it. Everybody else, you gotta wait.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody else,
look, there's a hierarchy, and I think people there's a hierarchy. Yeah.
But it's maybe 3 people that they call me, I'm gone. If they call me right now, I'm gone now.
Right.
But you have to set up those relationships and those boundaries. Mm-hmm. And this is not just related to mental illness. This is dealing with life in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There has to be a hierarchy. I have clients sometimes do this little circle, kind of a circle of trust deal or whatever, where they're in the middle. It's a bunch of circles, one bigger than the other around each other. They're in the middle, and I have them determine, look at the people in their lives, who's in your inner circle, and put the rest of the people, as far out based upon how you feel about them, how they treat you. Like, there are all these factors that we have to look at, right? And stuff like that. You should not have a whole bunch of people in the inner circle.
No.
You're living a lie if you got,
it's not an inner circle.
If you got 15 people in your inner circle, that's not an inner circle, right? And I even tell my kids, because kids are like, I want to have like 100 friends. Baby, you don't need a million friends. You need 2 good friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't everybody to that extent.
As far as friends, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
Come on, bro. That was tight. That was deep. That was deep. I'm about to
right. And my last word on things, because I kind of got to go take care of something.
We got to start getting out of here.
Yeah, but make yourself, and this is whether you're dealing with a mental illness or not, try to make yourself the best version of yourself you can be.
Absolutely.
Don't compare yourself to folks in the next lane, because they ain't riding your car. They're not on your
Come on.
Compare yourself to yourself.
Right.
Make the best version of yourself and give that person away to people that actually fucking deserve it.
Thank you.
Right.
Don't waste your energy on folks and they ain't getting reciprocated. Don't do that. I'm telling you, I did it with family for you. It does not work. It will make you bitter and angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll cause you a lot of hurt. So, just worry about yourself. Don't worry about other people. I mean, I got 2 boys. I got a 13-year-old, 19-year-old. 19-year-old grown. He grown. Other than 13-year-old, I'm golden.
Yeah.
That's the only person I'm responsible for making sure he got shelter and I'm worried about myself. Now, my friends, my 2 people I care about, I'm rock for them. But other than that, I don't cast a wide net anymore.
Right. Right.
No.
Yeah.
So,
that's all. I agree.
Just try to treat people better. Try to go into life with an open mind and an open heart and take care of yourself. Don't buy into this self-sacrificial bullshit that I bought into all my life. The more it shows you care.
Nah.
How does it leave you dead?
Yeah.
So that's all I got to say. But I got to step out, y'all. But it's been a pleasure, and let's do this again.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Georgia.
Thank you so much.
All right, love y'all. Talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.
Love you.
Love you too.
So anything else we want to know before we start wrapping up?
I don't know if Ambassador is still on, but
I think go ahead.
Hello?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know if Ambassador is still on, but we've had so much, like I just kept nodding my head because I'm just trying to process everything you all are saying, and it's just so super interesting, educational, and I am so motivated and I am so inspired. I am so what will I say now, man, like overblown, but everything first of all, self-love. Secondly, we shouldn't care about what people say, and all of that. And then to parents, what you say out to your children is what stick into their heads, except they're old enough as time goes on in the future to know, oh, what mama said back then
Yeah,
wasn't actually right, or
that's
what
right.
papa said back then wasn't absolute, and all of that. But I just kept dwelled in all of their words because it just kept sinking in. So, like, as a parent, you should know what to say to your children. You think it doesn't stick, it does stick. So
Yeah.
you should watch your words, watch your steps, and
Yes.
then as children, oh yeah, fine. You shouldn't just be confided to like so many people, but you could just, oh, even though mama said this, but I think I'm good. Even though mama said this, I feel I should do better, or I don't really care about what mama say. I think what I care about is my happiness, because your happiness comes first,
That's right.
and all of that. So there's other things which I learned, and it's super exciting. So I want to you, Mrs. Shawnnel, I'm so super excited that you were able to make it for the webinar. And George is already gone, but of course, yeah, we speak like every now and then, and we are so super excited to also have him. And really can thank you, neither can we thank Georgie enough. We earlier said we're gonna have this more yeah, we wouldn't have to keep it trying to set up just because Africans need to listen and hear all of these things, because like we are in our own version, in our own shape, in our own illnesses, mental illnesses, that we are unable accept that we are mentally ill, and we are able to accept that there's something wrong with us mentally.
Right.
We see it as we shouldn't even talk about it, because of course, like, okay, if you're having a good car and you complain to your friend, oh, like, I'm tired of life, you're like, come on, you're tired of life.
Yeah.
Somebody that is riding an Okada, or like a bicycle, so you should be happy. But whereas we have people who are multimillionaires in Africa, but they still take their life, they still commit suicide. Yeah, they don't have this awareness. Awareness is real,
Right.
So you people who are professionals on mental well-being, mental health, talk about it gives us a whole sense of awareness.
Yes, and that's the key. The key is awareness, like being able to, just open people's eyes and minds to it, right? And that's where we start. We start by educating, answering the questions, making sense of it for people, and all. And that's why I say I don't lean on the side of saying mental illness. I lean on the side of saying mental health, right? Let's talk about it in the positive sense. So let's change our narrative, how we talk about it, because that's one reason that people don't want to talk about it, because to say that says something's wrong with me. No, there's nothing wrong with you, baby. But there are things we were always growing, right? See it in that aspect, in the positive aspect, right? And I think if we can change that narrative, change that viewpoint, baby, there's nothing wrong with you. But these are some things that we do need to work on so your life can be better, right? Because none of us are perfect, right? And all that. So I think we should continue to have this conversation, and you just let us know how often you want to do it, and we can set that up, and and then our audience will get bigger and bigger because people start talking about it more, right? And all that. And then let's just keep having the conversation over and have people, send questions, like, because we need to know what needs to be known, right? Because the more we talk, the more questions that are going to come up, and then we answer those questions, we answer more questions. And it's going to get great. It's going to get great. Yeah. So I appreciate the opportunity to be able to come and talk and reach out to my people and all that, and spread the word and spread the knowledge, and get us healed, so we can be a great people like we once were and still are. We just need to know it now. We need to remember it. We need to remember it. You know, it's all in our DNA. It's all in our DNA.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We still are great
Right.
people. We just need to recognize it. We need to remember.
Right. 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 Thank you so much. We are so grateful. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your comments and your questions. And keep an eye out because we'll be back. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
You know, if you got social media, I'm at Choosing
I know we were
everywhere.
able to connect.
Huh?
So many people were able to connect to the signal, and
Yeah.
I think they were able to just navigate to get into the webinar, you
Yeah,
know,
but we'll
and all
we'll
that.
just do it again.
So
We'll just
we've
keep
had
doing it, and
people
they'll be able to get in one
texting.
of them. Yeah, but that's why we're gonna
Yeah,
do it again. We're gonna do
yeah,
it again,
yeah,
and then we just keep talking
yeah,
about it so they can keep dropping in because you know technology does what technology does. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. You know.
yeah. Right, right. Thank you so much, Merm.
No
And we're gonna
problem.
say you have a good night rest. Afternoon over there though, but yeah, you're gonna have a good night rest and God bless.
Thank you so much, Aduanna. Talk to you soon.
You too.